Sorry. Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to this video lecture series on the subject English for Skill Enhancement. So, I am Arif Ahammed. I teach English at the Department of SNH, MLR Institute of Technology, Hyderabad. So, today's topic is Noun-Pronoun Agreement. If you remember, in previous lecture we have dealt with subject-verb agreement. Similarly, there are certain rules that we need to follow while we use pronoun. So how pronoun should agree with noun. So let's move to the next slide. So let's check the overview of the lecture. Today's lecture, what is the overview? The first thing I'll be talking about, explaining what is noun-pronoun agreement, and then I would be talking about rules related to noun-pronoun agreement with examples, obviously. Okay, so let's see. What is noun-pronoun agreement? So if you remember subject-verb agreement, in the same case here also, noun-pronoun agreement also. You can see what is noun-pronoun agreement. It refers to the agreement in numbers, gender, and person between noun and its pronoun. So there are two parts in this concept. One thing is, obviously the agreement should be between noun and pronoun. That is one thing. Another thing that you need to remember is that agreement will happen in respect to three things. One is number, gender, and person. So now you can understand that noun and pronoun, they should agree with each other in terms of number, gender, and person. So let's say if a noun is singular, a pronoun also should be singular. See the example here. The boy lost his watch. Unfortunately, he lost his watch, but let's see, the rules, the concept, how this example is actually explaining this concept. So you can see here, the boy lost his watch. So here the boy is noun. So what kind of noun it is? It is obviously singular noun. Okay, so number, singular. You can also see the gender. You can also check the gender, right? So what is the gender of a boy? Male. So you can see. Now let's come to the pronoun. What pronoun we are using for this noun? His. So his, it is also a singular pronoun. So this noun also is singular in number. Pronoun also is singular in number. Similarly, this noun is male. Here, this is also male. Pronoun also is male. So here the noun-pronoun agreement is happening in two aspects. What are those? One is number, another one is gender, right? So I hope you understood. Now we'll go to the rules of noun-pronoun agreement. There are certain rules that we need to remember while we used pronoun in sentences. Now let's see them. The first thing is number agreement. So as explained in the example, a pronoun must agree with its antecedent. Remember, antecedent means noun. Okay. The previous noun, the preceding noun, you can say. So a pronoun must agree with its antecedent in number, singular or plural. So if a noun is singular, a pronoun also should be singular. See the example here. The coach scolded his player. Now coach, what is the number? I am not going into the gender. Let's focus only in the number. The coach is singular, right? One coach. I'm talking about one single coach. So coach is singular. You can see the pronoun also is singular in nature. Second example, the doctors completed the surgery successfully. Here you can see what is the number of the noun, doctors, plural. Now see, completed, here there is a mistake. It should be completed their surgery successfully. So the pronoun is also plural in nature because noun is singular. Similarly, now say, let's see the gender agreement. Rule number 2. The first rule is about number agreement. Second rule is regarding gender agreement. Now, you can see the example. I'll directly go to the example. The girl said she was tired. Now you can see, what is the noun? Girl. Now, what is the gender of this particular noun? You can see it's female, right? So here, the pronoun also is female. The boy found his watch. Now, boy is here male, and that's why the pronoun also is male. So these first two rules, they are very basic rule. First one is related to number. The number of noun and pronoun should be same. They should agree with each other. And also the gender of noun and pronoun. Now let's say if you are using, you cannot say the girl said uh, he was tired. Now you cannot use he here because then the gender would be different. Now pronoun you are using to indicate or to refer to the same noun, this particular noun girl only, right? So if you are using he, there would be mismatch in the gender. It would be wrong. So that's why they should agree. The gender should agree. So these are the first two rules. Now let's come to the next set of rules. Rule number 3, person agreement. So how noun and pronoun should agree in terms of person. Match the pronoun with the point of view. Means you know about this first, second, and third person, right? So you can see here, example, I like my tea. I is first person. Here, this is also first person. You, second person. This is also second person. He, this is third person. The pronoun also is third person. So the person should also agree with the noun and pronoun. Should agree in terms of persons also. Next rule, indefinite pronouns. Now, 3 basic rules we have already covered. Please remember. One is number, first one, then gender, and then what? Person. Whether first person, second person, or third person. Now, these 3 things we have already covered. Number, gender, and persons. These are very basic things. Now, we will come to the other rules also, which is related to something else. Now, we will see what is the case with indefinite pronouns. You have seen already while dealing with subject-verb agreement also, the indefinite pronouns were a little confusing, right? So, when they were acting as the subject of the sentence. Similarly, here also in terms of noun-pronoun agreement also, they can create confusion. So, you have to remember one thing. Indefinite pronouns are usually singular. So, what is the basic rule related to numbers? If the noun is singular, pronoun also should be what? Singular. So here you can see, here everyone, here this is not a noun. You have to remember that a subject of a sentence can also be a pronoun. So in that case, this pronoun should also agree with this pronoun, like they should be agreeing. It's not directly noun-pronoun agreement, but pronoun-pronoun agreement. But here you have to remember pronoun is working as the subject of the sentence or antecedent of this pronoun. So now you can see everyone is singular, right? Indefinite pronoun, because this is what I said, usually singular. Indefinite pronouns are usually singular. So everyone is indefinite pronouns, it is singular. So this particular pronoun also would be singular. Now why I'm saying his or her? Because when I'm saying everyone, the gender is not, I'm not specifying the gender. It can be both male and female. That's why I have to write both, his or her. Similarly, someone also indefinite pronoun, again singular. So the pronoun, this pronoun also should be singular. And because again gender is not specified, so I am using his or her. That includes both the gender, right? So remember, this is the rule regarding indefinite pronoun. Now let's see the next set of rules. Rule number 5, compound antecedents. So you can see antecedent, pronoun should agree with the antecedents, right? Sometimes it can be noun, sometimes it can be pronoun. As you have seen, indefinite pronouns can also, act as the subject of the sentence. Now, use plural pronouns for nouns joined by and. So if we are dealing with 2 antecedents or 2 nouns joined by and, then what kind of pronoun we should be using? Plural pronoun, because they are plural. Now, just draw a parallel between subject-verb agreement related to the same aspect, compound antecedent. It's almost same. You can see subject also, when 2 subjects were joined by and, they were considered as plural, hence we were supposed to use plural verbs. Similarly, when 2 subjects or antecedents are joined by and here, they should be considered as plural. Now, if it is plural, this particular pronoun also should be plural. See the example. Pritam and Sai took their bikes. So you can see Pritam and Sai, 2 antecedent, 2 nouns, they are joined by and. So it should be considered as plural. Now, hence it is plural. This pronoun also should be plural, because antecedent and the pronoun should agree in terms of number. Another rule is what? When the pronoun that agrees with the closest noun. Now, another rule is if we are dealing with neither nor, either or, those kind of things. Then what is the rule? Use the pronoun that agrees with the closest noun if joined by or noun. So in this case, when two subjects or two antecedents are joined by conjunction like neither, nor, either, or, then what we have to do? We have to check the nearest antecedent. Okay, see the example here. Neither the girl nor the boys. So this is the pronoun and this is the antecedent, right? Two antecedent, two nouns, they are joined with what? Neither nor, neither nor. So what you have to check? You have to check the closest antecedent or noun. So what is the number of this noun? Plural, you can see boys. And that's why the plural, the pronoun also is plural. Hope it is clear now. So remember, antecedent, compound antecedent, if it is joined by and, they are always by default plural. But if they are joined by other type of conjunction like either or, neither nor, then what we are supposed to do? We have to check the closest antecedent. Closest means the antecedent which is nearer to the pronoun. So we have to agree both these antecedent and pronoun in terms of what? Number. So here, because the number is plural, the pronoun also should be plural. Now just see, if I change the sentence like neither the boys nor the girl brought. So what will happen in this case? I cannot use there because I need to check the closest antecedent. So here, after the change, the closest antecedent would be girl, singular. So that's why I have to say her. Girl is female also, so female gender also we have to change. We have to use her, not his. So neither the boys nor the girl brought her phone. Fine? I hope it is clear. Now let's see collective noun. This is another confusing element, collective nouns. Okay. So what is collective nouns? You know already the definition of collective nouns. You have also see how these collective nouns actually can influence the subject-verb agreement rule also. So what is the rule regarding collective nouns? Use a singular pronoun if the group acts as one unit. So if the group acts as one single unit, then fine, there is no confusion. It should be singular. It should be treated as singular. Hence, pronoun also should be plural. But when the group members, they don't act as one single unit, they act individually, then what will happen? We have to use plural pronoun, because in that case, the noun or antecedent should be considered as plural. Now see the example. The team won its game. So first thing is noun and pronoun. You can see this is the pronoun, this is the antecedent noun. So team here, they won the game. So they acted as one single unit. Hence it is considered as singular in nature. So the pronoun here also is singular in nature. But the team are arguing among themselves. Now see, if the team members, they are arguing among themselves, that means they are not acting as one single unit here. So that's why this is considered as plural antecedent in this case. Hence, I am using plural pronoun, right? Themselves. So I hope this is clear. Now, one thing is, this sometimes may sound odd. The team are arguing among themselves. So let's say if I replace the plural noun just for your convenience, let's say I use class. Okay, class, group of students, right? So the class are arguing among themselves. So if I see this doesn't sound good, right? So in order to avoid that, what you can do is, this is the rule. If you follow this rule, this is fine. But because it doesn't sound proper or appropriate, so what you can do, there is an alternative method. What you can do, replace those sort of collective noun wherever possible. Sometimes we can just simply replace the collective noun. So instead of class, I can say the students in the class are arguing among themselves, right? That is fine. I am not using the collective noun here. I am using the plural noun students. So plural pronoun, no confusion. It sounds also perfect. So that is one alternative method. But if you follow this rule, it's absolutely fine. Please remember that. Now, let's move to the next set of rules. Rule number 7 and 8. Ambiguous reference. Sometimes pronoun doesn't refer to the antecedent or noun clearly. The reference becomes ambiguous, and in those cases, the sentence also will not be considered as proper, grammatically correct. So you can see here, avoid using pronouns when it's unclear what noun they refer to. So it's better not to use pronoun until the pronoun refers clearly to a noun. So remember that thing. A pronoun should have only one antecedent which is clear. So this is one basic fact that you need to remember. A pronoun should always refer to one single antecedent or noun which is clear. So first thing is one pronoun should refer to one noun and that reference point should be pretty clear. So it should be pretty clear if I'm using a pronoun, which noun it is referring to, that should be absolutely clear. There should not be any ambiguity in that. Now see the incorrect sentence here. When Ryan met Anil, he was late. So you can see there are two antecedents first of all, and then there is one pronoun. Now what is the basic fact? One pronoun should refer to one antecedent, right? One noun. Now, is the reference point clear? What does this he refer to? It can be both Ryan, it can be also Anil. How do I know whether this he refers to Ryan or Anil? So this is unclear. This is ambiguous. We should not be using that kind of ambiguous reference. So what we can do here, the reference point, we have to make it clear. So see how did I revise the sentence. When Ryan met Anil, you can see Ryan or Anil was late. So only one was late. Either it can be either Ryan or Anil. So according to the fact, you can replace. So you can say when Ryan met Anil, Ryan was late. So I'm not using any pronoun here. I am directly using the particular noun only. So that's what I said. Avoid using pronouns when it's unclear. So because here the pronoun is not referring clearly to any noun, so it's better not to use any pronoun at all. In the second sentence, I am using directly what? The noun only. When Ryan met Anil, Ryan was late. So now it's clear. I know who was late. There is no confusion. I hope it's clear. Now, next rule, rule number 8, each and every. So how do we deal with each and every? When nouns are preceded by each and every. So in certain sentences, you will see nouns would be preceded by the word like each and every. You can see here, each boy, noun, it is preceded by each. Student, noun, it is preceded by every. So what should we do? In that case, use a singular pronoun. So we should not be bothering about the number of this particular noun anymore. Okay. If the nouns are preceded by word like each and every, they are always by default singular. Hence, the pronoun also should be singular only. Now here, each boy, because gender is specified, I am using a male pronoun. Here, every student. Again, student, gender is not specified. It can be both girls and boys. That's why I am using his or her. I hope it's clear. Let's move to the next set of rule. Rule number 9, a positive phrase. So sometimes a pronoun should refer to the main noun, not to the positive phrases. So sometimes in a sentence there can be a positive phrases. Okay. So in those cases, we have to identify the noun clearly and pronoun should refer to that noun only clearly. You can see my friend Sahil, a reputed doctor. So you can see here a reputed doctor. Here, this is an appositive phrase. We should not be bothering about that. We have to just check the antecedent, the noun, which this particular pronoun is referring to. And accordingly, they should match in terms of gender. Sahil is male, so male gender, it is singular, so it is singular. I hope it's clear. Now, what do we do when we deal with animals and objects? So we use either it or its for animals or objects unless personified. So if they are not personified means sometimes the animals also can be, introduced as a character, as a human character. They can talk. You can see certain stories, Jataka stories, if you remember. Animals, they talk among themselves. So in those cases, they are personified. We cannot use it or its, right? We have to, because they are personified, we have to use his or her accordingly. Okay. But if they are not personified, then we have to use this only. It or its. The dog waged its tail. The machine has lost its settings. So I hope it's clear. Now, let's move to the next set of rule number 11, pronoun case. Use the correct pronoun case. So, there are certain cases of pronoun also, subjective, objective, or possessive. So this is, you can see, we have to be clear about this. When we use this kind of sentence format, this is she is speaking. Sometimes we can get confused, we can use the wrong pronoun case, her. So we have to be clear about the cases also. In this kind of sentence format, we use the subjective pronoun. This is she speaking. The gift is for him. Here, this is possessive pronoun, right? Rule number 2, possessive pronouns. Possessive pronouns must match the noun's number and gender. So when we are dealing with possessive pronouns also, they should match with the precedent number. So Ravi and his brother, two antecedent, two nouns, they are joined by and, so they are plural. So if they are plural, the pronoun also should be plural. Hence, I am using their. Here, my friend forgot her. So my friend here, it is assumed that she is a girl. So my friend forgot her password. This is singular girl. So I am using singular and female pronoun her. Fine. Next set of rules. Rule 30, gender neutrality. So this is one important aspect we need to remember. So normally what we have seen, if you remember the previous rule, each student, so because students, I said that it's not, the gender is not specified. It can be both female and male. And that's why in pronoun, we used to use what? His or her. Okay, that's what I told in the previous slides. But in modern rule says that in order to bring gender neutrality, instead of using his or her, we can directly use the plural form also, though they will not match in number. The rule says if a noun is preceded by each, they are always by default singular. Hence, the pronoun also should be singular, right? Now, because gender is not specified, there should be his or her. Each student should bring his or her ID card. But modern usage rule says that in order to avoid that gender or maintain that gender neutrality, introduce the gender neutrality, we can use the plural form of the pronoun also. If someone calls, tell them. Again, someone calls, tell him or her. Instead of using him or her, in order to bring gender neutrality or introduce gender neutrality, what I'm using the plural form, them. I hope it's clear. Rule number 4, hidden antecedent. Now, this is something important. We have to remember that what is the basic fact about noun-pronoun agreement? I told that pronoun should agree with one antecedent and the reference point should be clear. These two things, right? Now, sometimes a pronoun's antecedent function as an adjective, not as a noun. It is incorrect. A pronoun should always refer to a what? A noun. You can see here, the candy dish was empty, but we were tired of eating it anyway. So this is the pronoun it. It is incorrect because we know dish we cannot eat. Is it possible for us to eat dish? I know for human being it's not. Maybe you can try. No, please don't try. So dish. So what is happening here? So we know that dish is not or cannot be the antecedent because we cannot eat dishes. So the other option is candy. Okay, but candy is acting here as adjective. You can see here. This is not a noun. This is an adjective. Now, pronoun can agree only with a noun or another pronoun, right? But this is an adjective here in this sentence. The candy dish. Candy is modifying this particular word, dish. So this is not a noun or pronoun. This is what? This is an adjective. So this is wrong. How can we modify the sentence then? The candy dish was empty, but we were tired of eating candy anyway. Instead of it, no need to use the pronoun. You use the antecedent candy. Fine. So I hope this is clear. So these are the main rules about noun-pronoun agreement. So what is the summary of today's lecture? Identify the correct antecedent. That is one thing we need to do. We need to check the antecedent properly. If there are a positive phrase or other things in a sentence. So what is the antecedent? And then match number, gender and person. Antecedent and pronoun, they should agree in terms of number, gender and person. And then be careful with compound or identified or indefinite pronouns. So whenever we are using indefinite pronouns or compound, noun, compound antecedents, we need to be clear because we need to first decide the number. And then avoid ambiguous reference. Do not use pronoun when the reference is not clear. If a pronoun is not clearly referring to a noun or another pronoun, it's better not to use the pronoun at all. So thank you all. We'll meet again in the next lecture. Thank you.